I am joined today by Dorian SRed and Trevor Reveur of No Cut, and they are the game developers of Void and Meddler. So thank you for joining us today, guys.
Yeah, thanks you
Thank
for
you.
you.
To start off, Dorian, why don't you give us kind of synopsis of what Void and Meddler is? Kind of tell us a little bit about what the game is and why people should be interested in it.
Yeah, I can. Um, Void Meddler, it's old school point and click 2D games with pixel art and more traditional art, and it's more psychological, like cyberpunk, psychological, surrealist game. Your film, and maybe I will let Trevor continue because he can explain better the story than me.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, well, so if you already played the game, you know you play Finn, um, a character like it's you have like this character who lost her memories 2 years ago, but it doesn't really matter because they're like gone forever and you will never find them again. But you are lost in you're lost in the city, you're lost in yourself, in your mind, and you want to live again. So you will have to find memories to live again. And you're not. It's not a matter of being good or bad. So you have to find memories, and you have to find it your ways. It
Mm.
can be good, it can be bad. So it was the main thing we wanted to do, and I think it's like the whole beginning of the story.
Yeah, yeah. Um, so in playing Void and Meddler, the thing that stood out more than anything to me was this world that you created. It's like you said, Dorian, really surreal. It's perfect cyberpunk, really gritty, really sleazy, all lit up by fluorescent lights. Um, and it's completely unlike any other, especially cyberpunk world I've ever seen, where we've got people that are kind of half animal, hybrids. Where did this idea come from? What kind of inspired this world?
It's really personal and a lot of literature
Hmm.
uh, because we are punk and queer, and we would like to demonstrate you. And it's not a binary word; it's more complicated. It's not
Mm.
Macnickian. We didn't want to put the cliche cyberpunk like freaky, poor people and corporate. So it's more psychological with Philip K. Dick inspiration, William Gibson,
Mm.
Tsukamoto, um, a lot of other things. Trevor can continue to
Yeah,
explain.
yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Trevor. What are some of those inspirations that you drew on?
About the animals, yes, it's a lot surrealistic. I mean, it's some kind of absurd poetry,
Mm.
and just it just fits with the whole universe. Um, we always talk about like the neon to city. So of course there is some influences very obvious like William Gibson and Enki Bilal or stuff like that.
Mm.
But we do like a lot of different stuff. Like for example, there is this French filmmaker called Chris Marker.
Chris Potter, okay.
Um, it's the one who made La Jetée. It's 12 Monkeys by Terry Gilliam is a
Yeah.
remake of this short French movie, and there is always in any of his documentaries and movies something very social, like very hard about it, but something very poetic. And we just, yeah, we want something very surrealist, something dark, but not only. I think it's all about poetry and some kind of madness, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a great explanation of the world. It really hits on some of the highlights I picked up. Um, so in this world that you've created, you've got this very classic point and click adventure. I mean, total nostalgia for me. Um, but one of the things that kind of always comes up when I play point and click adventures is point and click logic. So there's one solution to one problem. And I thought now that I have an opportunity to talk to developers that have created a point and click game, I'd ask, how do you decide what solutions to what issues to gravitate towards? So how do you choose that one solution?
Um, you have to know if we have three solutions for the big puzzle in Void Meddler, so
Right.
it's really interesting, I think, to put the things on that. But yeah, um, we decided like we wrote the story at the same time with the gameplay and puzzles.
Mm.
We are very nostalgic about the old school point and click and crazy and illogical stuff sometimes.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like you have an idea about a character and what you have to do with this character, and you try to understand why it can be important and what we can do with other levels on the game and what kind of item it could be interesting or dialogue, or I don't know. It's really intuitive for us to work. It's more like, yeah, it is fun to play it. It's maybe frustration for the player, but we like it. We want to frustrate the player.
Yeah, and maybe
So
maybe Trevor, you could touch on something Dorian mentioned, which is in both of the episodes, even though this is a classic point and click, which normally would have one solution for every issue, pretty much, you do provide some options. I've played through the first episode a couple times, the second episode only once, but I could even see in that second episode a couple of different threads that you could go on. What made you gravitate towards having kind of a narrative that goes in a couple different directions?
It's like I just explained. There is mm, nothing, nothing good and nothing bad. So um, the player's choices are like motivated by himself. So it's that way we. It's a story. Sorry. It's the way we wanted the story to to go. I I think where well, sorry, Dorian just said that it's all about the story, the choices you make. There is like yeah, it's it's all it's all about the story.
Yeah, no, it perfectly serves that. The last thing specifically about Void Meddler that I wanted to touch on was the characters you've created. And I had an interesting, I guess I'll call it a change of heart between episode one and episode two. In episode one, I loved the universe you created and really couldn't stand the main character. Um, some of the choices that were made, some of the ways that she reacted to things, it was just kind of tough to deal with.
yeah,
But then I found in episode two, you really kind of created a characters that were a lot more um, rich. They had a lot. They felt fuller to me. Um, so where there's that difference between the two episodes, and in talking to you and doing some research, episode one was a little bit more experimental. You were kind of testing things out before going on to episode two. Um, how did you approach things differently in episode two in writing these characters and creating stuff?
um, it's more like, okay, you have no two kind of memories,
Mm,
and the character should evaluate with his new memories, and she's more human. Uh,
yeah, no,
I
that
can't I can't spoil, but yeah, it's like she is more interesting to the city, what it's happening around her, what what we can do more, like the problematic with the words
Mm.
on the.
Do you want to touch on that, Trevor, and how you kind of developed the characters over the two episodes?
Yeah, I think it's kind of logical. Um, she's she's more complete with new memories, and her feelings are just growing back.
Mm. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So, moving from the game specifically to you guys as indie developers, I wondered if you could both kind of touch on how you came to be indie game developers. And my understanding is it kind of is pretty similar. You guys started with music and kind of moved into game development, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So what started that move?
Um,
Question. Uh,
we worked together like 10 years. Yeah, Trevor and I.
Hmm.
We make some music, some small novels and other stuff. And it was like we lived in the same city a few years ago, and yeah, we participate in game jams
Hmm.
together, and it started with that. We like to make video games in game jam, and it's like okay, we will try to make a real commercial indie game more professional, and we find some other people to work together with us and publisher. And but they're all friends. It's more like a collective.
Mm, cool. Cool. So we like to ask developers what games they played that were kind of inspirations to them. So maybe Dorian first and then Trevor. What were some of the inspirational games that you played either growing up or recently?
Monkey Island first, obviously.
I could have guessed that one.
Um, what kind of games? Kentucky Road Zero for the most recent,
Hmm.
and that's too much games.
Of course, yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, I really like the new indie scene because it's more experimental and more psychological. Yeah,
Hmm.
and it's what I like in this kind of game because I like gameplays, but it's more like when you can feel some really strange feelings. It's really interesting.
Cool.
So with Kentucky Road Zero, I don't know, Gone Home, yeah, or
Hmm. Yeah,
Firewatch. It was a really great games, yeah.
great. What about you, Trevor? What were some of the inspirational games for you?
for for the old ones, like Dorian said, of course, it's a lot of LucasArts games.
Hmm.
Uh, that seems pretty obvious. But most recently, I need to think a little. It was not really an inspiration for the game, but I love to play to jazz punk,
Ah, yeah.
um, for the absurd stuff, and um, yeah, the Dorian mentioned Kentucky Route Zero, and I think it was something very important to us. This kind of it feels like you are playing in a David Lynch
Yeah.
game, so it was yeah. Um, I don't have any other games in my mind right now. Um, of course, there is plenty, but I just can't.
Right.
Yeah, I
Right.
remember Gona. It's a really
Yeah, I
recent
love
game, but
Goner.
it's really great. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so to kind of close out the interview, are there any other indie developers out there right now that you think are working on something really cool that people might not have heard of?
Um, too much
Yeah,
people to.
Yeah, you just mentioned Goner, which I think is a great one. A lot of people I don't think
Yeah,
heard about Goner.
yeah,
Um,
you
what
should.
is it that really captured your attention with Goner?
The world too, the music, sound design, and it was very catchy and dark, and I don't know, it was really funny to play.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, any indie games out there now that you think people might be interested in, Trevor?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward. I think the name is simply Riot.
Mm,
It's a game with riots, and it seems very, very, very fun.
cool. Awesome. Well, Dorian SRed and Trevor Review of No Cut, thank you very much for talking to us for a little while about Void and Meddler. So episode 3 is expected early this year, correct? Is that right?
Into yeah,
In
early
2017?
I don't know, but yeah, it's
Yeah, 2017. Okay, we'll say
yeah.
2017. Um, well, we will be eager to play it. So thank you both for taking the time to talk with us.
Yeah,
Thanks.